Learning to fill time in your playing is such a great skill because not only will you be able to fill your own music, but you'll also be able to start accompanying as well, filling out introductions, endings, spaces within music, accompanying another person when you've got to fill a lot of space. So that's what today is about. It's just a little intro, but it's going to be on 3 levels, so hopefully there'll be something for everybody. And this is something that I feel is important and doesn't get spoken about enough. There's a time not to worry about this when you're not fluent yet. However, hopefully there'll be something to inspire you to learn these skills anyway, so stick with us. Even if it's not time for this and you're playing yet and you're still trying to get those sort of first 5 or 10 tunes down properly, no problem. Maybe there'll be something to inspire you. There should be, to get down some of these skills anyway, because a lot of these skills are really important at every level. So in level 1, all I'm going to be doing is taking inversions on the progression that's on the screen. We'll look at it in more depth together, but it's this kind of sound. A-7, inversion, D7, inversion, G-7, inversion, C7. Already there's something to do, right? First thing is to know those inversions really well. Let's take a simple progression, a 3-6-2-5 in the key of F. Third chord, 1, 2, 3, A minor. Sixth chord, D minor, or sometimes D7. We're going to be using a D7. Then 2, 5 in F. 1, 2, G-7 to 5, which is 2, 3, 4, 5, C7. Okay. First thing is to just know your inversions. So level 1, know your inversions. That's why I said stick around anyway, because inversions are useful at any level. So I'm just going to take all my A-7th inversions, just taking the bottom note from the note from the bottom to the top every time. Let's do the same with D7. A simple D7, no voicings, nothing spectacular. G-7, and then finally C7. You could practice this in time like this with a metronome, right? If you're wondering how to start off your practice session, then why not this? And then, of course, it could be downs as well, so stuff like that, right? So how could we find this everywhere? Well, the last A-7 we played had the 1, 3, 5, 7, the 5 at the top, right? So we've got to find the 5 at the top of each one, and there then we'll arrive in root position. So what's the 5 of D7? 5 of G minor. 5 of C7 is G. Now you may have heard me say before that I teach on 3 levels. This is not those 3 levels. This is just breaking up this skill into 3 levels. If you're enjoying this, then please give us a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Leave us a positive comment if you've got one. It's really helping to grow more and for more people to see this on YouTube. And if it's time to level up your playing, then come and see us on Jazz Skills. More about that at the end. For now, back to the lesson. Now you can use pretty random inversions. For example, A-7 in root. Then let's put the third, the C at the top. But the thing I want to do is try and get to a close by D7. Okay, so for example, 2, 3. Fine, that one's close by. But it could have been, because that top note just gets doubled. Actually, that's okay. That's okay. Another way to do it would have been with the A at the top. So you get some sort of melodic interest, right? That's okay. If you know your voicings, then you would play this diminished chord where the D goes up a half step here over a D7. I talk about this a lot on YouTube and on Jazz Skills, so I won't go into too much depth on it. I'll link something below. And try not to have everything on 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. So for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. That was an inversion of that diminished chord before the G-7, right? So you can probably hear some sort of melodic phrases coming about. Let's do it again. Notice this thumb will often just replay there to fill some time in the left hand. 4 and 1. A random G-7 to show it doesn't have to be a pattern, right? And this would be the equivalent on the C7 that we did on D7, where the C has moved up a half step to give us a diminished chord, right? Okay, whole thing. Great. And this is an F major 7 where F has moved up a whole step to G. I teach that a lot as well. Those are some ideas for level 1. So in level 2, there are many ideas we could explore. One I'm going to use today is breaking up the chords so we play outside 2 notes followed by inside. So A minor 7, outside 2 notes, the bottom and top first, right? And then the inside. So we could have, let's do that on every inversion actually. And remember we were using diminished chords on the D7, on the dominants, right? So I'm going to do the same with that diminished chord. Outside, inside, G minor 7, outside, inside, outside, inside, outside, inside. It's easier to play it than it is to say it sometimes. And then on this C sharp diminished, which is going to go with our C7, remember the C moves up a half step. I know the computer's calling it D flat, right? But outside, inside, outside, inside, outside, inside, and outside, inside. So we end up with stuff like this. So chord, outside, inside, inversion, to a diminished chord, outside, inside, inversion. Let's take this one. Outside, inside, inversion, diminished, diminished inversion, right? So let me play in time now, and you'll hopefully see the kind of thing that's going on. On level 3, I'm going to introduce the Barry Harris chord movements. You probably know that I studied with Barry Harris, so these are really part of me. I love them. For each minor 7th, we're going to find the corresponding major 6. You can see me teaching this on YouTube as well. Of course, we talk about it in depth on Jazz Skills, but if you invert your minor 7th up, you get a major 6, in this case, C major 6. Same on G minor 7. You take G minor 7, invert it up, you get B flat 6. So we will be using, for A minor 7, the C major 6, alternating with D diminished, okay, to make a scale of chords. Then C6 in an inversion, D diminished in an inversion, C6 inverted, D diminished inverted, C6 inverted, D diminished, etc. And that gives us a scale of chords. Same on B flat 6, and then C diminished. Then inverted B flat 6, inverted C diminished, etc. Inverted B flat 6, inverted C diminished, inverted B flat 6, there's the G minor 7, inverted C diminished, and back to B flat 6, okay? Now, without doing anything overly clever, if we just slip in those diminished chords, we've got some movement, okay? So stuff like this. Okay, so hopefully you caught the movement bit. So we've got A minor 7, alternating. Remember that that's like C6, yeah? Alternating with D diminished. So I had 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. This is like ballady tempo, right? Notice how we've got to complement that note with the left hand, right? And it can even move like this. So it can move back to where it was, fine, or it could move down the scale in the right hand, in which case I'll move the left hand up. Don't have to, but I like doing that sometimes. 1 and 2 and... We won't look at the diminished movements today, just inversions, right? B flat 6. Moving through the scale, B flat 6, C diminished, complementing that diminished note in the left hand. Moving in contrary motion, and 2 and 3 on C7. I'll keep a simple C7. Inverted. So if I now play a bit more freely, we'll end up with something like this. I'll mix up some of the things we've learned on the different levels. So that's filling time and accompanying on 3 different levels. I hope you found something there to inspire you or to use in your playing. If you're ready for the next level, then come and see us on Jazz Skills, where we have a developing fluency course to get you fluent in the jazz language in the first place. People really love that one. And then we've got voicings, movements, improvisation, accompanying, rhythm, all kinds of stuff, with a vibrant community plus support from me as well. Hope to see you there. Thanks a lot for watching, and bye for now.